Did you see Joe Biden's idiotic presser? Did you see it? Did you see this guy rambling off his mouth? We got 13 U.S. Marines dead. That's as far as we know. It's probably going to go higher. But I just want to explain to you how inept this man is. And if you're one of the folks who actually voted for this fool, I hope you have plans to go see a doctor because you need to have your head checked. Or maybe you're just anti-American. The president today, I can't believe I just said those words. Joe Biden today said that we're never going to forget. We're never going to forget. We're never going to forgive. Never going to forgive, Joe, huh? Were you not the vice president at the time when you forgave 5 terrorists, right? You gave forgiveness to 5 terrorists in Gitmo. You let them out, and now they're back over there with the Taliban. You're not going to forgive, huh? Sounds like you're very forgiving. What about forgetting? First of all, Joe, you can't forget what you're supposed to say in 2 seconds from now. God forbid you drove. You're one of those guys who's never going to find his keys. You couldn't find your ass with both hands, Joe. Okay? You're not going to forget? Like you promised not to forget 9/11? Joe, I don't know about you, but the open borders, people coming through right now, that sounds like you forgot about 9/11. So I think you're going to forget. I'm pretty confident that you're going to forgive, and you're definitely going to forget. Because we can't ever forget that your buddy, Barack Obama, you're serving his 3rd term. He said he was always going to align with the Muslim people. We can't forget that. I know I don't. As a 9/11 survivor, I won't forget that. The next stupid thing that Joe Biden said was that there was no evidence that this was the doing of the Taliban. It was all ISIS-K. ISIS-K. It was all ISIS-K. The Taliban and the ISIS, they don't get along. They're not friendly. There's no proof that this had anything to do with the Taliban, that, somehow, some way, they just sort of, missed it at the checkpoint. Hello, Joe. I don't know, you may have been sleeping or at Camp David, or who knows, you were probably checking on your Parcheesi group. But what we saw last week was that the Taliban was opening up prisons, knowing that inside those prisons were their so-called arch enemy, ISIS-K. Let me tell you why they're not enemies. See, they both believe in the horrors that are within the Quran. And in the Quran, Joe, you and me, we're the infidel. So trust me when I tell you, the Taliban and ISIS-K are not like, oil and water. They're like this. And they hate you and me and the red, white, and blue, Joe. No evidence? Sure there's evidence. There's evidence of 13 dead U.S. Marines. That's all the evidence you need. Why are we doing deals with the Taliban? Why are we trusting the Taliban to monitor the outside of the airport? Why are we telling them to watch things for us as we evacuate people? That's like asking Michael Jackson to babysit your kids. Who does that? Who does that? And then on top of that, you're given the names. He tells you, we've given names to the Taliban, telling them, let these people through when they come through. Holy cow, Joe. I mean, that's like giving your social security number and your bank account number to a telemarketer. What the hell is wrong with you? This guy is so stupid. He's so stupid. Joe, let me give you a little wake up. Water on your face, whatever it is that guys like you need to wake up. You and all of your race baiting, clueless, don't know how to do nothing administration and radical woke people at the Pentagon who are more concerned about coming after the big bad white guy. Yeah. You've forgotten who the enemy is, Joe. See, you and your administration, along with all your press buddies, you're going after American citizens. Your Department of Homeland Security is putting people, mommies, going to school board meetings and saying, I don't think my kid should wear a mask. Or other people saying, does it make sense that 83 million people would vote for this guy? It doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, because we ask questions, if we ask questions about science, wait a second, do I really need to get the jab? My baby and my neighbor and my buddy and everybody else, well, they're still getting COVID and they're around people who had vaccines. And by the way, the vaccines Well, people with the vaccine are getting COVID. Joe, are you sure this is the iron door defense? Joe, you've forgotten who the enemy is. See, it's American to ask questions. It's American to want to worry and get a second and third opinion about your health. It's American to want to protect your children when stupidity rings. It is American to say, can we close the border right now? You're telling me that there's this big, huge pandemic. I got to hunker in inside. Meanwhile, you're letting 200,000 people from the third world come in. How many of them are Taliban and Al-Qaeda and all the other different people who want to chop our head off, Joe? I think you forgot about 9/11. Here's the way you do this. First of all, you identify the enemy. The enemy is the Taliban. The enemy is Al-Qaeda. The enemy is every single last radical Islamic nut that wants to take over the world and in doing so cut off our heads. If we could just acknowledge that, if we could drop the political correctness for just one moment, maybe just one day, we could get 13 guys back into circulation. Because there's 13 parents, there's 13 husbands or wives, there's 13 families that are going to get a knock on the door today and hear that their husband or wife or brother or sister is dead, trying to defend freedom, trying to get people out of a place in a problem that you created, and you trusted. How do you make the phone call to Mr. Smith tomorrow? Mr. Smith, I'm sorry you lost your son. I shouldn't have withdrawn the troops before, I should have withdrawn the people before the troops. How do you make that phone call? You're going to blame it on Trump? You're going to keep on blaming it on Trump? Here's what you do. You send over more troops. You fire up the planes. You fire up the helicopters. You fire up everything you got to do. And you wipe these scumbags off the face of the earth. It's not hard. It's not hard. There's not a single American that's going to sit there and say, oh, I can't believe you did that, Joe. You didn't give these guys a fighting chance. Wipe their asses off the fucking planet. That's the way. Why are we negotiating? Why are we talking to the Taliban? Why are we doing any of this? Wipe these suckers off before they wipe us off, Joe. That's the way that you win the game. You know, President Trump and all of his tweets, I didn't agree with every single one of them. But let me tell you something right now. I would bet my toes, my fingers, my balls, and my buddy that Trump would never, ever let this kind of crap happen. Ever. And for the so-called 83 million people out there today, I got to assume you're not bothered by the fact that this is all going on and we just lost 13 Marines. And if you are bothered, if you are starting to think about it, let me give you a little hint. You're going to have a chance in about a year to voice up again. Don't vote for the blue because they're fucking stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And then in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whether it's Trump or DeSantis, and the media tells you how bad they are, and they pull the tweets, and they say this and they say that, get your head out of your ass, because that's where it's been buried, and vote for people who will actually protect you and your family, versus sending you out to the Taliban, giving your name over to the Taliban, letting Al-Qaeda spread again. Okay? Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi are as stupid and anti-American as any other human beings I've ever met in my life are. They have got to be the most stupid, inept, corrupt, evil people ever. And the fact that you don't see that, if you voted for Joe Biden, and yes, I'm even talking to you, China, you're out of your mind. God bless those 13 brave men and women who lost their lives today because your president is an absolute ass. I am going to be talking about this tomorrow on my podcast to the degree that needs to be talked about, because Facebook, you got to watch what you say or else they're going to wash your tongue out with soap. Not on my podcast. Tomorrow we go full blown. Full boat. Download the DML News app. It's for free. You can get my podcast, the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast, for free if you want an education. If not, turn on CNN. See you later. Hope you share this video.